Well, this is part 4 of a 12-part series about rebuilding your local community. If you missed any of the previous parts, please go to the Rebuilding Community playlist on my page and start there. These videos are meant to be watched in order because each one gives you something practical to do, but more importantly, each of the steps builds on each other. So in this video, the assignment is relatively simple, but it might make you kind of uncomfortable. Ask for something you need and then tell someone what you can offer. Now, a lot of us have absorbed the idea that capable people handle their own problems. Helping someone else feels generous. Asking for help feels embarrassing or weak or like you're making yourself someone else's problem. So we say we're fine. We carry too much, we spend money, or waste time, or keep struggling with something that a person 3 houses away could probably or possibly help us solve in 10 minutes. That person might have a tool you need, they might know how to fix the thing, they may have extra food, or a truck, or an open seat in a car, or half an hour that they'd be happy to give you. The need exists, the help exists, and usually neither person knows about the other. Community starts becoming real when people can say ordinary things out loud. Like, I could use a ride, or I don't know how to fix this leak, or I need someone to check on my cat for 2 days. The same goes for offering, by the way. I have a ladder you can borrow. I'm already walking my kids to school. I can take yours this week. I made too much soup again. Do you want some? None of this is in any way remotely dramatic, and it shouldn't be. Depending on other people, should be part of normal life, not something we save for the moments when everything has gone wrong. We already know how to do this during a crisis. Like after surgery or a death or the birth of a child. People organize meals or give rides or check in. For a little while, everybody remembers how human beings are supposed to work. And then the crisis passes to some degree and we go back to pretending we can handle everything alone. So here's the practice for this part of the series. Make an ask and offer board. It can be a literal board, although it doesn't have to be by any stretch of the imagination. Use a sheet of paper on the refrigerator if you want, or a whiteboard in a shared space if you have one, or a cork board at the library, or a note in your neighborhood group chat if you want to keep this digital. Split it into 2 sections. One side says ask, the other says offer. Then put down simple but specific things. I need a ladder this weekend. I can help move a piece of furniture. I need somebody to feed my cat. I know how to repair a bicycle. The useful part isn't only the exchange itself, it is the visibility. People can see what others are carrying, at least more so than without something like this. And they can also see what the group already has available. Someone owns a truck. Someone knows basic plumbing. Somebody works from home and can receive a package. Somebody has more tomatoes than any reasonable household could possibly eat. That's my situation with green beans right now. Now, once those things are visible, I think asking gets much less awkward. And offering gets easier too, because people don't have to guess what might actually be helpful. Now, please don't turn this into some complicated system. You don't need a spreadsheet, a points system, or one exhausted person who's keeping records of who has contributed enough. Some weeks, one person will need more than they can give. And later, that may reverse. Needs change. People contribute in different ways at different times. The whole thing falls apart if everyone starts treating it like an account that has to balance by Friday. But trust grows because people keep showing up when they can, and because asking for help stops feeling like a confession of some sort. You can add this to the small circle you started earlier in the series, if you did that. You can try it with 2 neighbors if you want, or a few parents from school. People in your apartment building are also options, or whoever is already nearby. This size of this whole thing doesn't matter all that much, at least not yet. You're trying to make 2 things more normal: saying what you need and naming what you can give. So here's your action step for this week, if I need to boil it down as best I can. Write down one thing you need that somebody nearby might be able to help with. Then write down one thing you could offer without creating a major burden on yourself. Keep both of them small but specific. Maybe you need to borrow a tool. Maybe you can give somebody a ride. Maybe you need help moving something heavy, or you can spend half an hour showing someone how to solve a problem you already understand. And then share your ask and your offer with one person nearby. If you're not ready to do that yet, at least put them somewhere visible in your home. Leave the note on the refrigerator or the counter, and get used to seeing a need and an offer sitting next to each other. Having a need doesn't make you a burden, and having something to offer doesn't mean you volunteered to solve the world's problems. You are making a little room, though, for people to depend on one another again. We can't rebuild community while everyone is privately trying to look completely self-sufficient. It starts when somebody says, "I could use some help." And somebody else realizes, actually, I can do that. Now, in part 5, which will come next, we'll talk about giving before trying to grow, and how one small act of generosity can shape the culture of a group from the beginning. But for now, name one thing you need, name one thing you can give, and then tell somebody about it. Even if that takes you a few days or a few weeks to wrap your head around. All right, I'll see you soon.